We really went wild with the mulch. We ended up putting it even around this bed, around this one, that's the herb bed. I've still got my pots setting up there. And then in the places where we planned to put it in the first place, we went on the other side of that part of the arch and even on the other side of this part of the arch. That'll help some with weed eating. And then Matt liked my idea of going all the way down through there, so we did that. And then we did this part, and I got all the pots and grow bags cleaned out, so when I start planting flowers, I'll be ready for that. Then we got the long bed there by the house. We got it all covered up, cleaned out, and then covered up. It had a ton of violets in it. I dug a lot of them up. Matt helped me. He got almost to the end. There's like probably 2 feet down there that still needs mulch, but I said, let's just wait till the next time he goes after mulch. We'll be using it for all kinds of things this summer. So I said, let's just wait on that. No need to go down there just for a bucket full. We'll wait. And then he helped me, and we cleaned out this bed, which had been overtook a little bit with some weeds. So it makes me feel really good to get it cleaned out. And doesn't it look so much better now? Back there in the back is some yarrow and some lamb's ear, and then irises there in the middle. I dug some of those up while we were digging weeds. They spread so fast. And here's some of the little poppies coming up from last year. This is the wonderful flowers that my Aunt Wanda, Matt's Aunt Wanda, shared with me. A few other things in this bed. We have the September charm anemone. It'll come up, I'm sure. There'll probably be some other poppies that come up. There might be some cosmos or zinnias, old maids, because I had them in this bed last year. Had marigolds in here. Might be a few of them. And then there's also a beautiful tiger lily that Granny gave me that's in this bed. Then inside the greenhouse, we have lovely cabbage. Don't it look beautiful? So nice. It needs to be in the ground. It should have already been in the grounds on our list. Have some onions that Corey and I bought that we're sharing. Those need to be in the ground too. This is a lovely rose that a friend sent me in honor of Granny's birthday. So nice. So I got to figure out where to put it, but it's doing great in here. And then we've got some other cabbage just coming on, and then some peppers. These are our peppers back here, and they're doing good too. We've had such warm weather that I just moved them all out here, moved them out to the greenhouse, and they seem to be doing fine. There's one that's even was just barely breaking through the soil when I first brought it out here, but you can see it's growing. These jalapenos are what grew much faster. Those are the ones growing much faster. I was doing a quick walk around in the yard. There's a different colored daffodil about to bloom, almost bloomed out. There's some behind it, but that one's almost opened. Only crocus I have blooming, still the purple ones. You can see Granny's plum tree down there in full bloom. It's really pretty. It never produces many plums, but it sure is pretty. Lenten roses are still looking lovely. You can see let's see if I can say it right. One of you told me to say a steel bee. A steel bee. They're beginning to come up. Those are some little Lenten roses that'll just baby ones growing. This is one of my patches of bloodroot. You can see the blooms have already started falling off. This one's completely gone, and then you see the leaf, and it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger till it's about as big as my hand. True harbinger of spring. Right beside it, or right below it, you can see the hostas beginning to come up. Now we're going to have some really cold temperatures starting tonight and the next night and the next night. So these may freeze and just turn to mush, but they'll come back out even if they do that. They probably will if it gets as cold as what they're saying. Our blueberries don't have any blooms, but they're beginning to leaf out, you can see. The little vinca's been blooming like crazy everywhere. It'll kind of bloom on and off all summer. Graveyard weed, some people call it. There's some violets blooming. Of course, there's some daffodils already blooming. Here's one of my little grape hyacinths. I have way more of them, but this is the first one I've seen. Maybe they've not come up, or maybe something's happened to some of them, but there's one. This was the tulips I had last year, but didn't bloom. But they've got, you can see, I hope they're going to bloom. I hope this cold weather coming doesn't hurt them. I think they're orange. One of you lovely people sent them to me. Last year, they barely come up. This year, you can see they look great. The miniature hostas that are hugged up next to the house, they're even more sheltered. So see, they're already leafing out. Again, though, these cold weather may just wilt them all, turn them to mush, but they'll come back out. That's happened before in the past, and they're always just fine. Matt and I have come out to save the cabbage. It's going to be bitter cold tonight. You can see we've got a little bit of snow. It looks mostly like ice.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mostly ice. It's been, I guess, sleet, snow, and mostly rain all day. But it's going to get bitter cold tonight, so Matt and I are going to carry the cabbage inside, set them in the kitchen, and we'll bring them back out tomorrow, maybe. Is it going to warm up tomorrow?
No, it's going to be 36 or 7 tomorrow. So
they may get to stay a couple of days inside, then we'll bring them back. We need to put them in the ground, but that ain't going to happen yet. While Matt was getting the rest of the cabbage, I got some little green onions for supper. Well, I might as well. There you go.
All right, this morning I'm going to till. Got the tiller hooked up on the tractor and going to till the big garden. It's dried out enough, I think. And in a couple of days, we're going to be planting potatoes, so I thought I'd go ahead and come down here and get this thing tilled. A lot of years I just do just the patch where we're going to do potatoes and not anything else, but I think I'm just going to do the whole thing today, and may have to go back over it right before we plant, just on the section where there is nothing, and just kill weeds or get them tilled under or whatever and then plant. But I'm just going to till the whole thing under, get it chopped up real good and fine, and get it ready to plant. So that's what's happening today. All right, now I got the garden tilled. Now I'm going to cut the seed taters and put them in a bucket. It's a couple of days before we're gonna plant them, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut them and get them ready, and that way they'll have a little time to heal, scab over. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we just cut them in the ditch or cut them in as we're putting them in. But today, this year, I'm gonna cut them ahead of time for a couple of days and give them time to heal over before we plant them.
The tulips Matt and I planted last fall have really been beautiful. I hope they'll spread and each year will be even prettier. Look at that one, isn't that lovely? Look at that, down in that one. There's one, and here's a few more about to come up. You can see there's one of the hostas that we missed. I told you there would be ones we missed. There's one. Look at this little one back here with the, look how the petals have that fringe on them. Isn't that beautiful? Another thing we planted in this bed last fall are these lovely daffodils. Isn't that just so pretty? Beautiful. I was afraid one of those really cold nights we had would have damaged the peony rose, but here it is. So it's still doing good. You can see it's growing. Some of the leaves, that's the first one that come up, and some of them have not yet leafed out, but they will. My first flush of daffodils have done and faded away, but now the second flush of different ones are blooming. This is a pretty one too. I have a lot of these right here outside the kitchen window that I can see. The thrift is just now starting to bloom. Have that lavender color and this hot pink color. Isn't it pretty? I have one other little patch of tulips that one of you wonderful people sent me. Not last year, but the year before. The first year they come up, there was just a few leaves here and there. You can see there's a lot of leaves this year, but a lot of the little blooms just, you know, they never fully developed. So this is the only one I have so far. It's really pretty though.
An hour's hair. Good job. Watch out.
I had the great pleasure of attending the 100th birthday celebration for Rachel Virginia Hicks. A lot of you may remember the interviews that I did with Granny Hicks. If you missed them, I will link to them in the description below. It was a wonderful party. She has tons of family. She had a huge family herself. Then when you think about grandkids and great-grandkids, add in all the friends and the various people's lives that she had impacted over the years, There was a lot of people there. Granny Hicks was honored by the town of Andrews at the party. She was presented with a certificate of honor celebrating a century of life. Just before I left, I got to talk with her just a few minutes, and in typical Granny Hicks fashion, she left me with a wonderful pearl of wisdom. I made a remark about what a nice party it was, and she said, "Any day's a good day when you're surrounded by family and friends."
Great last chorus there.